Well, you're standing in historic Tuscumbia, the park area. This is the spring, one of the largest springs in the United States. Today, on a day when the aquifers are not full, it's pumping at a rate of about 56 million gallons a day. When the aquifers are full, when there's been some rain going on, it goes up to 96 million. We were pumping 4 million gallons to our water filter plant, and we drink that water. Since we've stopped most of the leaks, we only use about 3 million gallons a day. So this is a very famous place in that history occurred here. Andrew Jackson, the first military road built in the United States, is right at the top of the hill going through here. They were here in this park in 1817, and they camped and drank water here. This was the first military road that authorized through Congress, so there's history there. Then, of course, our most famous person from Tuscumbia was Helen Keller, and she is the first lady of courage known throughout the world because of her handicaps, being blind and deaf at the same time. Annie Sullivan was brought here to help teach her, and that's a story that's known all over the world. There's a visitation for her home is open daily, and we have people, a lot of people from England, an unusually large number of Asians come. They're really carried away with it. They know all the history. I was in St. Martin a week before last, and that's Dutch owned on the west half and French owned on the east half. All of those people knew who Helen Keller was. So around the world, she's famous. And thank goodness we have her legacy to try to live up to. A lot of her relatives are here. We have the first railroad west of the Allegheny Mountains, the third chartered railroad in the United States. And the reason for it being in Tuscumbia is that you could put your wares on a sailboat in England or Asia and bring them to New Orleans, change over to flatboats, go up the Mississippi to Paducah, Kentucky, and then turn into the Tennessee River. And Tuscumbia Landing is at milepost 250, so it's 250 miles to the Mississippi River. But that's as far as you could go, because the bed of the river rises 100 feet in elevation in a space of less than 14 miles. Consequently, you couldn't ship goods upstream. And I'm a civil engineer, worked all of my career with the DOT building highways and bridges. And George Washington Goenthal was also a civil engineer. He's the guy who built the Panama Canal. But I always wanted to see it, so my wife and I went there, and I bought his book, and he says the channels, the canals that he built in Tuscumbia, Florence area are the most challenging work of his entire career. So the late 1800s, he was here and built a series, and I think it was 8 lifts that brought the water elevation up to where we could ship products upstream. And then, of course, in 1926, Wilson Dam was built, and we had the 2-lift system until 1957. When I was in college, they decided to make that a 1-lift. Since it's 100 feet lift of water in 1 lift, nobody had ever done that. And we had the highest single lift lock in the world when it was completed in 1958. A lot of people came from all over the country to see that. Goenthal says in his book, his challenge was in the Shoals area on the Tennessee River, greater than the Panama Canal. So anyway, that's a little brief history about what goes on in Tuscumbia. There's a lot more.